Hey crafters! Welcome back to my channel Because I'm Crafty. My name's Katelyn, and today I have two pattern reviews for you guys. I'm going to talk to you guys about two jumpsuits that I recently made. If you follow me on Instagram, you have seen them plenty of times by now, but one is a woven and one is a knit, so let's get into it. So the first one I want to talk to you guys about is the woven jumpsuit that I made. And I found inspiration from Lisa Comfort. She was talking on her So Over It channel, I believe, on YouTube about a rosy dress hack mixed with the ultimate culottes to make a jumpsuit. And I then seen her picture on Instagram and thought it was so cute. And since I bought the rosy dress pattern at So Over It while I was there, I decided to buy the ultimate culottes and mash them together. So that is the first one that I made, and I'll show you guys it now. Here. So this is the rosy dress top, a traditional like collar look on the top. There we go, with the black straps. And so it's just got the kind of center, side front, side back, and back style bodice. I put an invisible zipper down the back, and I've fully lined it as well. And then I matched it with the ultimate culottes, which are quite wide. Oops, go this way. And I fully lined the pants as well with a cream Bemberg because this is a cream background. I didn't want anything to be see-through. So that is it there. Hopefully you can get, see if I can get it back here a bit more for you. There you go. So I'll put some more pictures, let me go this way, off to the side here, and I do have a few little video inserts to put here as well. Rosy dress hack with the ultimate culottes. Lisa had mentioned that there did need to be some adjustments to line up the darts that are on the culottes, and then the side front and side back seams so that they line up so it's not like all wonky. So what I did with this one, actually let me just grab it again to show you. So I did make the front ones match up. You can see my dart there and my side front seam, like that one you can see a little bit better. There it is there. And the back of the culottes has two darts. So what I did was made sure that the darts lined up on either side of this seam, because I felt like if I had one lined up here, then I would have one too close to the zipper or too close to the side seam. So I kind of made them go in the center of where this would line up. So there's a lot of walking and relining of the pattern pieces. So I just traced the bodice of the rosy dress out onto some tracing paper and then used that to match up with the ultimate culottes, and then I just drew on that paper. I didn't bother to retrace the culottes. So that had a little bit of rejigging. I think I did take a small little video of that. I'm not sure if I did, I'll put it here. But I basically just cut out the size that I needed. I do believe, if I remember correctly, I did add a little bit like extra to the hips of the culottes. So I think I cut out the 8 or the whatever the smallest size was for everything else, and then for the hips I went out to the 10 or 12. I think I did the same for the other jumpsuit as well. So that was, I think, the only adjustment that I made bigger for, and then the rest was just making sure that those seams lined up. So I will say with the rosy dress, I find that the center front panel is quite wide, and so I wanted to make sure that the side front panels were made bigger so that the seam is kind of more down the center of your bust. I think originally it kind of comes out a little bit further, so just do keep that in mind. I did make it smaller in the middle so that I could adjust the side fronts to come over, and then my darts would be kind of more lined up center with your bust than kind of a little bit more out to the side. Because I did notice that with the culottes as well, the darts were kind of way out, so I think it kind of made more sense to line them up more towards the center with the bodice. So that worked out well. The back was fairly easy to do. I just made sure that my waist measurement was going to fit me, and then when I walked it, I then adjusted the darts of the culottes to match the bodice, as well as like actually moving the placement of them so that the waist was good. I had enough, you know, extra seam allowance for my zipper, just in case, because I always like to leave at least an inch in my zipper no matter what type of zipper I'm sewing in, because I'm always afraid of stuff being too small. So that way, just if I ever need to alter it, then I have leeway to do so. I think that just comes from my background with working in an alteration shop. You know, people always come to us with stuff and there's like no seam allowance inside, and it just makes our job harder. So I always like to make sure there's extra inside. So that was what I did with the back. And I did measure the rosy dress bodice a lot while I was walking it to make sure that like the bust and everything was going to fit me, because I find that the measurements that are, no matter what pattern I'm using, whatever's on the packet or in the instructions, I can never trust them. Like I find I follow what it says and then it ends up being way too big for me. So I tried to measure the pattern as best as possible to make sure that it was going to fit me, and I ended up having a lot of seam allowance come out of my center back panel when I put in my zipper, so that it did fit me. The culottes part were actually perfect. They were perfect down like the center back, but the bodice part I had to take a lot out of. It was definitely way more than an inch at the waist, and then it actually came up more at the top. So I had to kind of rejig that kind of collar piece, because I needed to bring that in order for it to meet at the back, because I had like too much of it. So, but that was kind of my own fault. Maybe I missed that part. Maybe I was just focused on the waist and didn't measure along the kind of top edge. So I'm not sure what happened there, but nothing too crazy to fix or anything like that. Honestly, it came together really well. I just did a, what did I do? A 1-inch hem on the bottom, and I have my lining inside. So I just sewed it like two separate garments basically, attached it in at the top and understitched it. And then I have the zipper, I'll just show you guys, it's easier. Have the zipper sewn in with my lining as well. And then there's my top edge with my understitching. And then I've gone in spots and tacked my seam allowances together like a few inches down from the top. And then at the bottom, is this my side seam? Yeah, my side seam, I've done a tack with my seam allowances of my lining and my outer fabric, but I've done it very loose, so I just did a hand tack. So it does have some leeway to move, but it's not going to shift too much. I find sometimes when you actually stitch it down with your machine and it's like super tight in there, it makes it look pulled from the outside. So if you have a little bit of leeway, just have like a little tack that's like a 1/4 inch long, and it just kind of gives it a little bit of extra movement. So let me pull it out actually, and I'll show you what it looks like inside out. The other thing I did with my darts for my lining was I just sewed them as little pleats. So again, that gives you more ease of movement. So as you can see in the back here, I just did one bigger one instead of doing like two little ones. In the back, my zipper comes down about there. And then in the front, I did the same thing with where the darts would go. I just did some two little pleats. So that's what the inside looks like with my lining. And then, of course, I did do it quite a bit shorter just so that there was no way that it would peek out from the underside, because I just felt like these are so like big and have lots of movement. I didn't want them poking out anywhere. So I think that is everything that I can tell you guys about the Sew Over It patterns and mixing it together. There's some strap adjustments too, like, you know, very easy things that kind of, things that I always have to fix or change, that I don't have to particularly follow the pattern exactly. But that went together really well. And the reason why I made these two jumpsuits was I had my cousin's wedding to go to, and I bought this fabric at Sew Over It also while I was in London, and so I really wanted to use them. As soon as I like brought them home, I was like, these have to be jumpsuits. I don't know why they have to be jumpsuits. So I decided that those were going to be my choices for garments to wear to the wedding, and I actually asked you guys on Instagram which one you liked better, because I'd asked some people kind of around me, my parents, people I work with, and they were completely even. Some people liked the knit jumpsuit, which I'll talk to you about in a second, and then some people really liked the Sew Over It cream one that I just showed you a little bit better. And then I asked you guys on Instagram, and the poll was completely even as well. So I did end up going with the knit jumpsuit just because I felt like it was going to be a little bit more comfortable, and that day ended up being actually really cold. It was raining, it was really windy, it was actually kind of a horrible weather day. So that's just what it ended up coming down to. So I will talk to you guys about my knit jumpsuit now. So this knit jumpsuit is the Abby jumpsuit from the Smiley Girls. I seen this a while ago and I absolutely loved it. So when I brought this fabric home, I was like, that's exactly what I'm making. I had just enough fabric to do it. And I also went to Fabricland like randomly in between making this stuff, and I went to pick up a zipper or something like that, and I seen a knit. It was a really cheap knit. It's not very good quality, but it was $3 a meter in the clearance section, and it was very close color to the mustard background of this printed fabric that I used. So I actually used it like a lining, because I felt like, because they were long pants and the knit that I made it out of, the body of it, it's not super thin, but it's kind of one of those knits that kind of shows everything that's underneath. So if you have any lumps or bumps, or I don't know, not the right kind of underwear or undergarments, anything like that, it is very like revealing in that way. So I bought a meter of this $3 a meter knit, and I used it like a lining, and put like another layer of shorts underneath. They kind of come in between my knee and hips, so that just gave me another layer, just like all in this area. And it actually worked out really well. And then I used that for the pockets as well. That's the other thing I regret doing in the Ultimate Culottes, is adding pockets, because I mean, pockets are awesome, but I really love them in my Abby jumpsuit, so I wish I put them in the other ones, and I definitely still can, but I wish I'd done it from the get-go. So let's show you my Abby jumpsuit. So I have lots and lots of pictures of this, so if you don't feel like you get a good look right now, I will post them after. But this is the knit. It looks a lot lighter on camera. It is more kind of mustardy. It looks like a light yellow on camera, but it's got these really beautiful flowers in here, and I just fell in love with this when I seen it at Sew Over It. And I actually didn't have enough of this left to do the bands, so I went with black, and I think it just tied it all together because there is a lot of black in this print as well. So that is the top. And then I put the tie in the side seam of the opposite side of the wrap, so that when it comes together around the back here, I tied the kind of bow or knot so that it matched up with my wrap right there. And then this is the kind of cheap knit that I bought at Fabricland. Let me pull it out here. So it's very, very similar in color. As you can see, it's already kind of fuzzy, and I know it's going to get pilled really quickly. But there's my pockets, and then the pants. They're quite wide as well, actually. And I did do the full pant for these and just did a 1-inch hem with the double needle. See if I can get it here for you to see. There we go. I was going to do it culotte length, but I thought the long pant style would make it look nicer with a pair of black boots. And yeah, just a normal pattern. I did actually have issues with making the top of this fit the pants, and I'm not sure what I did wrong, because I did go back and print the updated top that they came out with. So I think they made it cross over more, or maybe they took something out of here. I'm not exactly sure, but they did an update so that it wasn't it didn't flap as much as the top that they had with the Samantha dress, which is the exact same style as this. And when I held that one, the newer one, over the Samantha top version, it was different. So I was like, okay, maybe this is, you know, better. And for some reason, when I lined up you know, my notches and everything down here of the top, it was way too big for the pants, and I cut out the exact same size. My waist was the same like as the size that I cut out, but then at the hips I did go wider, I think 2 sizes. I just kind of rounded it out and then came back down. So I'm not sure what happened there, so I had to do a lot of rejigging at the waist. It's completely fine now, but I did have to make, I think I made the darts a lot bigger, and then that helped me to kind of even this out. And I did it probably 3 or 4 times, because each time I made the dart bigger and then it got too big, and then this was like not crossed properly. It was, you know, too baggy and open, or it was like crossed way up top here. It was a little bit of a struggle, but we got there. So I'm not sure what I did wrong. I think maybe I don't know. I'm not really sure. I haven't gone back to the pattern to check, but I haven't really seen anyone else have issues with it, so I'm not sure. But I think I did something weird. So I'm just going to turn it inside out, and then you guys can see what I'm talking about, the little shorts lining that I put inside. So here's the top. Sorry, I'll get the strap put in so it's not distracting. So there's the top. Oops. Okay. And then at the waist, I also serged in a small piece of elastic just to give it that stability, because it is quite heavy. So I didn't want all of this down here to be pulling on the waist and then it would just be dropping weird. So that's how that is. So the only things that are open are, like in terms of seams on the inside, is the top, because it's not lined, and then the side seams where the pockets are. So, and I did put, where are we here? A piece of twill tape in my front side pocket here, my pocket pouch. This is with the pattern as well. And then when I did my center of my pants and the crotch seam, those are all inside like a normal lining. So that's what that looks like there. And I did do the normal darts in the back, and then the front, the pants don't have any darts. And then the hem of this, I just opted for serging it because I didn't want to hem it and add more bulk, because I thought there'd be like a crease line kind of showing underneath, so that's why I just opted to serge it and just let it kind of lay as flat as possible. And then I just got the rest of the pant. So I'm really, really glad that I did that. It didn't eliminate every single line and crease, but it definitely did help just to give me that extra layer. So if you have a knit that's like that, I would definitely recommend doing that. Even if it's just the self, or you have another thin, cheap knit lining that's kind of lying around, it's definitely a good way to just give you that extra like layer of smoothness underneath. And I think it did actually keep me a little bit warmer too, just because it was that cold that day. So yeah, I did end up wearing this just because of comfort and warmth and all of that, and I really enjoyed it. I got so many compliments, and a lot of people knew that I made my outfit. So, and some people that didn't know, that kind of found out as we were talking, they're like, what, you made that? Wait, let me get a good look at your outfit, because now I need to like pay attention. So it's kind of cool that, you know, people were actually really interested in checking out what I made and all that. So yes, that is my Abby jumpsuit, and I love this one. I love it. And I did just quickly want to throw in this jacket that I made to wear with the So Over It jumpsuit, because I wanted to make like a full styled outfit for each jumpsuit to wear to the wedding if I decided either or. With the Abby jumpsuit, as you may have seen or going to see in some of the little videos and pictures, I did wear this long black cardigan. But for the So Over It one, I wanted to make a black jacket or blazer style that matched the black that I used on the collar and the straps. So I made this jacket here. This is the Fresh Blazer from Winter Wear Designs. They have PDF patterns, and I think it turned out really well. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a staple item that I can have in my closet, and I really liked this really small kind of collar detail up here. And this is a stretch cotton, by the way. It's kind of got that satiny finish to it as well. So it's got side front and side back panels. Sorry, it's not sitting on this hanger very well. And then long sleeve. And in the front, it's got one buttonhole. And then the bottom kind of comes down to a point at the front. And then it's just very straight across. And the back actually does curve a bit. Let me see if I can hold it up better for you guys so you can see. That's not much better, is it? Let me try it on here. My mannequin has a large, like a wide back on it, so it kind of sits a bit funny as well. I don't know if you can see. The bottom is a bit curved. So it's not straight across. Let me get it on here properly. And then I've got top stitching on all the seams. Oops. And then it does come down to a slight point at the front. And then on the side front panel, it has a kind of welt style pocket, but it's in the seam. Things with this pattern, I mean, it went together pretty well. There's just a few things I would change about the construction of it, and I think that's just because I come from a very technical background, so there's a lot of things that I would change about it just to kind of up the quality of it. So it said to cut this front panel twice and then have two, like it would go all the way over here. I didn't really like that feature, so I just did kind of a normal facing, added a lining piece, and then I just used a little bit of this lace trim. I don't know if you can see it there, to finish off the edge, and then I used a little bit on the hem as well, just to kind of finish off the edge. Same with the hems, they didn't really leave much, and the seam allowance for these patterns is 3/8 of an inch, which is fine, but again, like I said with the So Over It jumpsuit, that I really do like to have extra seam allowance and extra room inside just in case I need to make anything bigger, because I do have an issue with this sleeve. The sleeve was on a cut fold, which is not, to me, is not a proper sleeve, and I think the rest of the style of the jacket is great. But for me, I think I would go back and cut a proper sleeve out where the front, you know, has less space and the back has more. And I would make it a lot wider, although it does fit. I do find that it sits a bit funny at the shoulder, and the actual like arm's eye is quite small. So I would go back, cut it bigger, and cut a new sleeve, because the seam allowance is 3/8 of an inch, you don't have much room to make your sleeve bigger because it's already small in the cap. So that's what I would go back and change, but other than that, I really do think that it's kind of a good basic jacket to start with. If you are a beginner, you can totally do this. The instructions are very simple. I skipped a lot of what they said and did a little bit more higher quality finishes for how I wanted to do it, but I think a beginner can totally do this. I would wash the sleeve or maybe cut a couple sizes bigger in the sleeve pattern that they have, and then just alter it yourself. Just cut a little bit off of one side to make that the back, and then cut your arm's eye a bit bigger. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. I haven't gotten a chance to wear it yet, but it is definitely really cute. And I think you would have seen in the videos when I was wearing the jumpsuit of me wearing this, and it looked really cute together. So I'm really glad I made it. So I really love how both of these jumpsuits turned out. I really do want to make more. So if you guys have any other patterns that you really love in the jumpsuit realm, even if it's hacking one together with another, let me know down in the comments below, because even though they are a bit of a struggle to go to the bathroom, I just think they're so classy and cute, and I can totally make these casual or fancied up. So let me know down in the comments if you have any recommendations for that. And hopefully I've put in all the videos and everything I have, so you've seen me wearing them and modeling them and all of that. So let me know down in the comments which is your favorite and which one you like more. And maybe if you've made these patterns or you've used any of the Over It ones separately, let me know which one's your favorite and how you like those patterns, because Instagram was definitely kind of even, so let me know your opinions. And make sure to enter the 2,000 subscriber giveaway that I'm hosting if it's still open as you're watching this. It'll say in the title if it's closed if you're watching this way later from when this is uploaded. But go check it out if you haven't already, and make sure to check out the links in the description and everything. I'll have a link to that video, and in that description it'll let you know all the rules and contest details. So I hope you guys have a fabulous week, and I'll see you next time, crafters. Bye!